think it's about half a year ago where Paul, the videographer, came up to me and he said, I met this dude, a great ball of energy, you need to meet him. He would be great for Creative Mornings. So we had a chat, and with the first 10 minutes, I was pretty sure, yeah, this is going to be pretty good. And then work happened, new adventures happened, but eventually we were able to find the right theme and to convince him to come over. So I want a big round of applause for this month's speaker, Ben Cullen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have fun.
All right, I'm going to set my timer. 20 minutes, yeah?
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Ben Cullen. Mark stole the first part of my speech. I met via Paul, who's my videographer. Paul has helped me document my journey over the last 15 to 18 months on my very subpar YouTube channel. Nothing to do with Paul, everything to do with me. YouTube is really hard for those that have ever tried. But we're trying to document somewhat of my journey. Really happy to be here. Thank you, Mark, for having me. The theme is parallel. I wouldn't say it's the easiest word to attach yourself to, at least in my mind. Anyway, Mark gave me an idea for the chat, but I decided to go a little bit deeper and do a little bit deeper thinking to go down a different alley. So that's what I'm going to do today. I've done lots of public speaking in the form of emceeing, hosting events, press conferences, but I've never actually given a speech or a talk or a keynote like this before. So there are no slides. I do have my little passport-sized notebook, if you don't mind if I refer to that occasionally. So yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to be here. I am a boy from the Valleys, South Wales. We come from humble beginnings in Merthyr Tydfil. I was once on the way to school. I was 13 or 14 years old, and Chris Moyles, the Radio 1 DJ, was talking about the worst places to live in the UK. And my town came in second. And I was on the way to school at 13 years of age going, brilliant. Well, that's where I'm going right now. So that's where I'm from, very humble beginnings. But the foundation of everything is my wonderful parents. My dad was my superhero. He passed away when I was 21. And he was the biggest influence and still is the biggest influence in my life. My mum, Camilla here works with me. Camilla will back me up. My mum is my number one supporter. I don't know who number two is, but I know that my mum is number one. So that is the foundation of everything, quite frankly. So thank you to both of them. I've been in Hong Kong 10 years now. I came as a semi-professional rugby player to play for a team called Hong Kong Scottish. I went from Wales to Australia to come here. I arrived with zero money, but big dreams after arriving in Hong Kong, and it felt like a place that I'd wanted to be all my life. I'm going to skip over lots of things, but it's important I give some context, and I'm going to come back to the word parallel, which is an easy word to talk about. I worked in Australia for a rugby company, a franchise, which started in the UK. It's called Rugby Tots. And then I came to Hong Kong, worked for a different company, and wanted to always have a business. I'd had little different side hustles, but never actually run a business. And come to Hong Kong, the energy of the city, the people you meet, and you go, well, this is a cool place to start a business, and probably the right place to do it. So I worked for this other company, coaching, but they didn't do rugby. So I decided I was going to start this company and buy the franchise for Hong Kong. And the other company said I could work for them Monday to Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, I would work on my own business. This was in November 2016. And I had 6 months to kind of figure this out, whether the two companies would coexist together. I go away for Christmas, come back, and they changed their mind and they decided to sack me. Brilliant. Again, no money in the bank, and now I've got a business. I've also now just lost my visa because it just so happened when I went on holiday for Christmas, my passport was expiring and I couldn't get my new visa. So now I've come back to Hong Kong, I've been sacked, and I have no salary. And this was the worst time and the worst thing that could have happened. However, it was quite frankly the most important part of my journey, was having absolutely no option but to make it work. You have no income, you have your back against the wall. And part of the reason why I bring this up is I've got a YouTube channel, not the one that I'm talking about with Paul, a secret one a long time ago, because I knew that life would not always be like this. And I've got screenshots of my bank account in there. credit card is maxed out. My UK overdraft that I used to have is maxed out, and I have 80 Hong Kong dollars in my bank account. That is it. But there's an element of belief, there's an element of positivity, and there's an element of this will work out. I want to go back to what Chris said earlier. I can assure you I was Chris. No idea what I was doing. But I believed in myself, and I believed in the city, and I believed in the opportunity I had ahead. So that's a really important part of my journey. We've gone on to grow in the city, and we have a nice reputation, and we have almost 1,000 students across 40 or 50 locations now. But beyond that, I've been lucky enough to do other things. None of these things were in the plan, and none of these things I have skills in, but this is a story today of positivity, of belief, of saying yes, and also figuring it out. I went back home to Wales and went to this wonderful event in Cardiff called Bingo Lingo. And it is a drinking bingo event. And I'm sitting there going, this is pretty fun. We should bring this to Hong Kong. So my business partner, George, was there. He's not here this morning. He's told me he's too hungover to come. Brilliant. Anyway, we are at this event together and going, this would go pretty good in Hong Kong. No event experience. We came back to Hong Kong and took, 6 to 12 months of planning. We put on our first event. Not sure how many people, who lives in Hong Kong? We'll see if anybody's heard of our event. We have an event called Got Balls. Does anybody know what it is? We've got a few people. Okay, we have an event called Got Balls. We brought this concept back to the UK, back to Hong Kong. Built our own brand, themed every event, and we were just awarded the best event in Hong Kong for 2024, which was very, very pleasing. Appreciate that. The point I'm making is we came back with, I've never ever run an event before. We've never ever sold tickets. I don't know how liquor works. I don't know how premises work. I don't know anything. We definitely don't know how drinking bingo works, that's for sure. But we'll figure it out. We came back and we needed a DJ. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll try. We needed somebody who was more invested in the show than just giving a 15 to 20 minute or 2-hour set. They needed to be invested in the show. So I was like, cool, I'll learn. So I messaged somebody. I was like, I need to buy some DJ equipment. They sent me someone's number. They were like, go to Sham Shui Po and there's equipment there. So that's what I did. I went to Sham Shui Po, bought some DJ equipment. Same thing. It's like, cool, I'll figure it out. So 2 weeks out from our event, I've got this spaceship in front of me. There's a million buttons on there and I do not know what to do. My first gig ever was for 200 people. And I can tell you now, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But we just celebrated our 7th birthday. 7 years on, DJing is now my future career and where I plan to go. I just started making music last year. I started playing internationally. And this lovely lady down here is Camilla. And Camilla has been part of my team for almost a year now and has helped build my DJ brand. So that's some of my story. I'm going to come back to the word parallel. Mark's suggestion, I'm going to check my time. I know, okay. Mark's suggestion was the word parallel was used in starting both businesses at the same time with no idea what I was doing, as well as no money.
I didn't say the last part. About
We did. We didn't. As I said, I took that YouTube channel, the YouTube video, knowing that it wouldn't always be like that. Anyway, so the idea was the word parallel was the two businesses together. Please excuse me as I look at my notes here. I'm going to go back a page. However, I decided to bring the talk back to how things coexist together, which is something that I wouldn't say it's a daily thing, but it's something that's reminded me every day. And as long as one thing is kind of getting ahead of the other, you'll be okay. I can firmly assure you I have many, many bad days every single week, but there's more good days than bad days. And I'm sure we can all agree with that. These two coexist, but as long as you have more good days than bad days, and if we look at a week, that's 4 and 3, bit by bit, you'll keep getting ahead. I can assure you there are some really difficult times in my journey so far, and I'm sure there's going to be more down the line. But as long as we have more good days than bad days, it will work out. There is an incredible amount of both belief and doubt, despite hopefully the positivity I've brought so far. I'll figure it out, but there's also side of, you're going to fail at this. This is going to be a disaster. Another key part of the story is for our Rugby Tots business during COVID. 5 years ago now, Jesus Christ. My office is literally opposite. And it seems really normal now, but I can assure you in February or March of 2020, rugby players going online to deliver children's TV shows in a makeshift studio across the road was not normal. But we needed to do something for our audience. I'd started doing video content off the back of listening to Gary Vaynerchuk through just reps and effort. And after 3 years of reps and effort in front of the video, we decided to go live on Facebook. And we did this 3 times a week for I don't know how many weeks, with a few in-person classes after that. During that time, somebody was watching. Her name is Alison Howe. Alison is RTHK radio and TV presenter. She's been working there for a long time now. She's worked in media all her life. Her children came to my program and she said, well, she took me for coffee and she said, I've seen what you're doing on Facebook Live and I'd like to offer you a job on the radio. I can safely say I had no media training at that point. I was delivering a makeshift TV show for kids, dressed up as a clown every other day. But she said, we need a new sports guy. And I was like, cool, I'll be your sports guy. And then I spoke into the microphone, not like this, but a recorded microphone for the first time. And, you know, through reps and effort and repetition, you'll get ahead. And I've certainly never done that before. That led to 5 years in radio at RTHK. I actually just finished. I've called it a day with RTHK so I can focus on my music and DJing. 2 years into this conversation, and maybe just spoil the punchline, I thought Alison was taking me to tell me that the budget had gone because COVID had not gone anywhere. So I'd already prepared myself for losing my job at RTHK. And she sat me down for coffee and she didn't sack me. There was extra budget and they wanted to start a TV show. They said, we want you to do it. I was like, well, definitely never done TV before. But I've been on Facebook Live and I'll make it work. And that led to a while on live TV. Alison sat me down for our very first rehearsal. We're like in the studio. I've never been in a TV studio before. And we're literally sitting next to each other. And I said, what are we doing? And she's like, we're presenting. Cool. Alison's an amazing person. And she always just kept saying to me, just be you, just be you. Just be you. And through reps and effort and energy and positivity and sort of a belief that you can do it, those things can come true. And yeah, Alison has been amazing. So I spent 5 years at RTHK off the back of that. Two of the other things that I want to talk about is investment versus income. And we live in a city where people earn a lot of money. It's a flashy city. But there's another side to that, and that is about what you feel inside and whether you're spending money or looking a certain way or doing a certain thing, because there are peers here. And I'm really proud of the fact that I've spent almost everything that I have ever earned just back on myself, not into investments or anything like that necessarily right now, because I believe in the future. I believe in where I'm going to be 10 years from now or 20 years from now. And that is way more important to me than, you know, short-term money in my bank account. But when you're in a city like this, it's really hard not to get wrapped up. I can assure you, when I had $80 in my bank account and my friends were teachers, lawyers, worked in finance, and I was not going for dinner with them. I couldn't, quite frankly, but there was a belief for the future. And I still stand like that now. It doesn't stand any different. I'll keep spending money on myself. I started working with a business coach last year, which in some ways 18 months ago, sounds really cliche to start working with a business coach, but my friend recommended him. I'd never worked with anyone before, and he's this Dutch guy who is the straightest, hardest. He makes fun of me every day. His favorite emoji to send me is a snail emoji. All right? So, where's my drink? I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing more insulting than receiving a snail emoji. And he keeps saying, chop, chop, Cullen. That's what he does. But he has really opened up, let me check my time again. He's really opened up a huge part of my mindset, where I'm going and what I believe in. I'm going to give a few anecdotes. I was going to move to Dubai last year to start a new business, a children's tech business. And the idea has gone on the shelf, and I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's actually a really big idea. We were seeking $1 million investment last February, and I was ready to move. And it came down to it that I didn't want to do it because I have this music dream, this music ambition. After DJing and loving music all my life, I've got this little itch to go after that. However, the children's business is built around fitness and good habits from a young age. If you get to 15 and you've already got it's hard to turn a 15-year-old into someone that loves fitness. It's not impossible, but it's probably much easier at 4. Anyway, we were talking about life expectancy. Does anybody know Dana White is? President of the UFC? There was a story about Dana White where he was going to die in 5 years. The guy had checked his blood markers. We were talking about life expectancy. Anyway, Bjorn, the Dutchman, says to me, how long do you want to live? I was like, he's like, no, go on. How long do you want to live? I'm coming up to 35. So in my head, I've just gone past 30 somewhat. 29. And I was like, cool, well, if I live 3 more lives, that'd be nice. That's 120. So I said 120. And he said, why didn't you say 500? There's an obvious answer why I didn't say 500. His point was to not anchor your mind to things that have gone before you and to open up your mindset to not, just because who says we can't live to 500, by the way? Right now we can't, but who knows in 20 or 30 years that you can't live to 500. That was his point, was about opening up your mind to do something that is bigger than where you currently are. And he has been a really big part of my journey. And I'm gonna come towards my closing speech, if you like. And in the SEALs in the US, they have something called Hell Week. And it is designed to break you. And if you go through Hell Week, you can do anything. And at Hell Week, there's a bell. And the idea is, once you call it a day at Hell Week, you have to ring the bell and quit. You take off your helmet and you walk to the bell, you lay it down in the line that have already gone and quit before you, and you ring the bell, and you are done. And we've spoken about this bell for some time, and the reason I got introduced to him was via another client and customer of his. He used to live in Hong Kong, and he's left Hong Kong. So I jokingly bought him a bell, the same one that they have, at the Marines. And this bell was sitting on my counter for a few weeks before I managed to give it to him. And this bell just kept looking at me. And in the end, I decided not to give it to him. And I've kept the bell. Because the bell is a reminder. I bought it as a joke, but it's become as a reminder. So literally opposite is my office. I put together my first ever production last night. It was an event and a live stream. I got to DJ and put together this, I'm not going to go into it, but it's probably the most proud project I've ever done. But on the wall is a bell. This bell I've been talking about. But next to the bell is an $80 IKEA cloud. And it's a light next to it. So the thing that I want to finish with, in lines with Parallel, is that don't ever quit, don't ever ring the bell, and in line with that is dream big. And you can do whatever you want, or you can get close to it, but you get a lot further if you just believe in that. So thank you very much for having me. My name is Ben Cullen. Dream big, don't ring the bell. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll do a couple questions.
I've got 1 minute left.
That's amazing. Stay away from the bell. That's a powerful metaphor for sure. It's time for some questions. I got some goosebumps. I'm sure that some of you got some as well. And there is a hand
Forgot
over
about the
there.
Q&A. I've just got nervous again.
That was brilliant. Like at the moment, it's really resonating with me. You say about not ringing the bell.
Yeah.
And, if I subscribe to your YouTube channel, can I ring the bell?
Like it. You should subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you get to see last night's production. So please ring that bell, but not the bell from the Seals. Thank you very much. I would love for you to subscribe. Go search Benny Cullen on YouTube. Paul, and then you get to see Paul's work as well.
Thanks. Less a question and just a comment as someone who... Ooh, sorry. Am I freaking someone out?
What is that noise? Sound check downstairs.
So I don't have a question, sorry. I just have a comment as someone whose son was 2.5 years old in... and you did a fantastic job at Rugby Tots down there in Sun Yat-sen Park for him and entertained him online. And it was like, I know you didn't know what you were doing, but...
We didn't. Chris, you'll be fine.
But it was absolute magic, and I used to, as you are when you're a mum of a toddler, you know all the mums, and I'm just going to stop. Loved it, so thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Hey Ben.
Hi.
So through all of your hardships and everything that you've been through, what keeps you going?
It's a good question, and I get asked it a lot, and the honest answer is I actually don't really know. I wouldn't say there's one thing. I didn't go into it too much, but my dad really was like my biggest influence. I started working with my dad when I was like 13, 14. My dad had a wholesale fruit and veg business. And because my dad did that, then it was like, cool, well, my dad goes to work, so I'm going to go to work with him. So every Saturday, I'd get up at 5 a.m. and go do that on a Saturday when I was in school. And then in the summer holidays, I'd work like literally 5 till 5. But I just got to see my dad, and it was his influence on talking about how he had previously travelled, may I add, that was a big part of it. He'd like not missed a rugby match at some point from Wales. Well, you wouldn't want to go watch Wales now, for the rugby fans here. However, he didn't miss a Wales match for like, I don't know, like 5 years. Like he literally travelled the world watching Wales play, and having that influence of going, well, cool, that's like a life that you could live. So I don't know to answer your question, but my dad was a big part of it, and I think it's just a want for more, and that's not in terms of money at all, which I've elaborated on. It's more for a new experience, a higher level of self. I really like, this is the first for me. I've got like a buzz from today. I've done lots of speaking, but never actually given a talk. Realized how hard it was. I was walking up and down my street the last few days, like with a timer in my pocket. And you're like, oh shit, 20 minutes is actually not that long, really. So I don't know. It's a case of wanting to push myself further. But I wouldn't say there's one thing. Yeah, I don't know. Appreciate the question, though.
Oh, right on, Tracy.
Thank you for a great talk, Ben.
Appreciate it.
So I was wondering, you didn't really talk about where you're going with your music business. Do you want to tell us more about where you're going? Like, it kind of feels like this whole thing is like Catch Me If You Can. Like, what else is he gonna do? What else is he gonna do?
Yeah, I mean that was the 20-minute time cap, to be honest. So I started DJing. I've loved music all my life. That was my mum's influence. There was always music on in the house or the car or whatever it was. And Mum introduced me to disco, which is a firm part of my childhood, which I've revisited, I guess, over the last few years of DJing. I'd actually thought about DJing before. My friend, I don't know how old I was, maybe 16 or 17, he had all of the DJing equipment, but it looks like a spaceship the first time you ever look at it. But also it's really expensive. DJing is not a cheap hobby. Then when we started the event and we needed someone, it was like, cool, well, sure, I'll just try. And then you realize that there is a process and a system, and there's a huge creative element to it. And I really enjoyed it. And then alongside the Rugby Todd stuff during COVID, I also decided to like actually, kind of learn a bit more than press and play, which I was pretty much doing for the first 2 or 3 years. there's a lot of press and play as a DJ as opposed to doing anything creative. Started putting out mixes on SoundCloud for people to listen to when they were working out during COVID because nobody had anything to do, and these were really well received. So that's when I really got into DJing, and then because of my Rugby Tots work on Saturday and Sunday mornings, I couldn't really DJ the night before. So probably only 18 months ago, I actually started playing in nightclubs. And I really enjoyed it, and getting to move a dance floor and influence the experience as well as add a bit of energy is a really big buzz. Then I decided to start making music, and it was about a year ago. Paul was there actually, and there's a piece of software called Ableton which people make music in, and I opened the software and it's like same thing. It's a new spaceship. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here, but I got a tutor, started working online, and then you make music, and it took a little while to make your first song, and that's like a new buzz again of just an experience that you made something that people are now dancing to. However, to answer your question finally, my plan is to music is my entry level, but I really enjoy media. I really enjoyed working for RTHK, but it's dated and media is changing fast. I think we just found that out with Donald Trump's election and Joe Rogan's podcast, and media is drastically changing. But I really like media, so the plan is to entry level with DJing, but I really like media. I really like clothes and fashion. I really like experiences. I want everybody to come and have the best time ever, whether it's someone coming to Rugby Tots. Our energy is all around everybody having a good time. Whether it's somebody coming to our event, we try to give them the best experience as possible. We're really detailed. If somebody comes to my DJ gig, everything is about experience. So I really enjoy events. And then the music is just kind of the bit that kind of ties it all together. So the plan is to do all four of those things, to be honest, moving forward. I don't know how they all tie together right now, but they're the four things that I really enjoy and want to kind of pursue a career in. Again, I'm back at Chris's level. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'll figure it out. There's a dream there. Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. Give him a big round of applause, Ben Cullen.
Thank you.
2 more things to do.
Okay, so from the questions we got, I think we had 4 or 5 questions. What was your favorite question? Because that person receives Peter Williams' book.
I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Where's the lady with the camera?
Tracy, right?
Tracy. I think it was Tracy's. That was Tracy's was about the future, which was kind. So I'll go with Tracy's.
Great. Big round of applause for Tracy, and Peter will get the book here.
I just want to grab this.
Sure.
There are so many parallel stories, including the Ableton thing. I've got one sitting at home and I haven't created a song yet. So if we can collaborate.
Absolutely, no problem.
That's the next level.
Yeah.
Go in the next book. So there's so many parallel sort of examples through here. The whole thing about this is how you can make serendipity predictable and repeatable just by putting yourself at the risk of these productive accidents. So putting yourself in situations where cool stuff happens. And I started playing with that idea when I moved to Hong Kong about 2010. Within 3 years, I had so much content I had to write a book. Then I did some of Seth Godin's. He did the Alt MBA, he did the Creatives Workshop, and he created a 100-day streak in the Creatives Workshop. So I put a little 10 by 10 grid piece of cardboard beside the bed, and if I wrote 5 minutes in one day, I put a little dot in one of the boxes, and then I did 5 dots in a row, then 10, then 20, then 50, then 100, and that was the first draft. So that discipline really made a difference, but there's a lot of stories in here that I think will resonate.
Thank you.
with
I appreciate that.
And then you can give this to the other person, and we can take a team photo maybe.
Oh yeah, come on, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything you need to actually read it.
You gotta be in this
Yeah, I
picture.
can do that. Awesome.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well done. That was great.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Well, 2 gifts today.
Thank you.
That's one. And of course, a big round of applause for Nick, who made you a unique paper cutting just for
There's
you.
another story
Just a little
coming.
thank you.
If you follow Benny C on Instagram, he has a very famous video where he's dressed as the Joker performing on the steps at Pohing Fong. Very iconic. He said that you might have been Joker in another life,
No, I still am.
this life. So this is.
Thank you. That's really, really awesome. Thank you. I'll give one more quick story. So there's a piece of DJ equipment that was released last year. It's almost a year ago, which is battery powered and portable, which is not normal for DJ equipment, and I already had some battery-powered speakers. So I decided I was going to go on a tour of Hong Kong. If nobody's going to pay you to go on tour, I'll make my own up. So I actually did a 20-day tour of Hong Kong last year, going to some of the most iconic places. I went to the Buddha, I went inside the wheel, I went on the MTR, I went to IKEA, which has somewhat become my most viewed video, and I've been introduced a few times as the guy from the DJ in IKEA. I'm like, cool, of all the things I've done, I'll take it. I DJ'd in a little bunk bed in IKEA. I'm not even joking. Didn't get kicked out, by the way. Anyway, so that was really successful, and I decided to do it similarly in December. And we had an event for our company called The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I decided to dress up as the Joker for the second time. And the Joker's a really interesting character. The Joker's like got this, split personality, but there's fun to it, but there's also a dark side of it, which goes back to the first part of my story. So I actually really like the Joker as a character. And if you've seen the film, there's like the film where the clip where he's like up and down the stairs. And those stairs are very similar in Shungwan. So I decided I was going to take my decks to those steps and pulled up as the Joker. And it's a really accurate photo. So thank you very much. It's really kind. I appreciate it.
Cool. One more round of applause for Nick.
Thank you.